Welcome to Mobile Car Mechanic. Today we're going to be doing an oil pan replacement on a 2003 Camry LE with a V6. This is going to apply from 2002 to 2006 Camrys with the V6. Let's get to it. Alright, parts and tools needed are going to be, of course, the oil pan itself, as well as some brake cleaner, some RTV, a ratchet with a 14 and a 10 millimeter socket and extension, a flathead and or pry bar to help pry the oil pan off, and of course a torque wrench. Okay, before we go ahead and start, we're going to go ahead and remove this drain bolt. It's a 14 millimeter. The reason why we're replacing it is because this person just bought this car from a dealer and they overfilled it. It's leaking oil. We're going to go ahead and replace it. It looks like maybe the threads might be stripped here because this doesn't look good. So we're going to go ahead and drain the bolt, or drain the oil. Just get your 14 mil and have your drain pan ready to go. We're going to go ahead and let it drain. Once it's drained, then we'll go ahead and start unscrewing the perimeter bolts. Alright, so no matter what, there's always going to be a little bit of oil left in the oil pan. I'm just going to go ahead and just insert the bolt for now, and then we'll just dump whatever we have left in the oil pan once we actually get it off the block. So there's going to be about 12 10 millimeter bolts around the perimeter. So we're gonna go ahead and start removing those. You could potentially have to remove this plastic cover, but it flexes enough to the point where we can get a socket wrench in there. So there are going to be some 10 millimeter. So this is the new oil pan here. As you'll see, this is going to be the front right under this plastic shielding. You'll have about 1, 2, 3, 4 here in the front. We're gonna still go ahead and try to show you as best as we can, but this will kind of give you an idea. So we're gonna go ahead and maybe tackle those first. All right, so you don't need to take the plastic cover off. We kind of just removed it so we can kind of show you a little bit. But you're gonna have this bolt right here, this one right here, that one, and then another one right here on the corner. These will kind of be hard to see on camera, but without the cover like being off. So we're gonna go ahead and tackle those first, and then we'll go ahead and tackle the rest of the bolts around the oil pan.
This one. Where one was this spot?
This one's going to be a nut, so should be a little bit easier to get out, hopefully. Okay. And then now we're gonna go ahead and just tackle the rest of the bolts here. So you got all around the perimeter of the oil pan. So we'll go ahead and knock those out. All right, there should be a bolt right here, but it's missing. Guess whoever owned the car and got it serviced, the person who did the job forgot to put it or lost it. Not the end of the world. I don't have an extra nut to go in there, or a bolt. So. Alright, so now that we got everything out, we're going to try to either use a flathead or a pry bar to go ahead and separate this from the engine block. So we'll go ahead and get that tool now. Alright, so in order to go ahead and pry the oil pan off, I'm going to try to use a pry bar. I kind of tried to jump ahead a little bit, but this area right here is made for you to go ahead and enter. It's kind of bending the oil pan now. I've created a gap. We're just going to keep messing with it, but you may need to use a flathead screwdriver that's kind of thick, or even like a I can't remember the tool right now, but like a flat putty knife, and just kind of break the seal around the perimeter by hitting it. So you'd stick something like a knife or a flat putty spreader and try to break the RTV here. So we're gonna go ahead and try to pop it here. It's gonna be a pain just cause, but we'll get there. Now you don't want to bend the pan. Right now I don't care because I'm going to be replacing it with something better. But this RTV can be on there pretty tight. Alright, once you got the pan loose, we're just going to go ahead and try to break the rest of the seal out here. Make sure you have your oil pan under here because it's just going to get messy. Our studs, they're kind of holding it hostage. Alright, once we get it out of the way, let's go ahead and drain whatever oil's left in here. Alright, get this out of the way. I'm gonna let it drain a little bit. We'll come back to it. Alright, so as you can see, there's remnants of the RTV that was on the old oil pan. What we're going to go ahead and do is use a razor blade. And we're going to try to get this thing as clean as we can. Not going to be perfect, but just be careful. Take your time. Got the majority of the big pieces off. Just gonna go ahead and try to get anything that might still be a little thick. You don't have to be 100% perfect, but get it as close as you can. Just get as much as you can off. You can also use a like a brush, like a wire brush. I might go ahead and use that after this, just to kind of get it as perfectly close as possible. Alright. Alright. And then just hit it with some brake clean after, so you can get some of that oil off. Alright, so if you are going to reseal the pan that you currently have, if you bend it, it may not be a good idea to use it. Is it going to be the end of the world? I don't know, but you can always bend it back, or you can just go ahead and stick the screw in there, tighten it until it straightens it out. But if you didn't bend it, great job. All you have to do, just like how we did on the bottom of the block, we're just going to go ahead and scrape it. You want to get all this material off as much as you can, so that you can have a nice clean surface for the RTV to stick onto. It's going to be a tedious process just because you know, there's valleys and things like that in here. So it'll take some time. Otherwise, you can use the old trusty wire brush. But you'll have to make sure you don't get anything in the oil pan, because if it gets in there, it's gonna get sucked up. You're gonna mess up your engine. So just be cautious. But we're not gonna spend any time on this because we have a brand new oil pan. So let's go ahead and get that prepped up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and clean the surface here with some brake cleaner. A nice clean surface so that this thing can stick. A little RTV will stick to everything. Just make sure there's no dirt in the oil pan as well. Better safe than sorry. It's good to use shop towels because they don't leave any lint or anything behind, and they're a lot stronger. Alright, so after you've tipped over your can, you're going to go ahead and get your RTV. We're going to use the Ultra Black here. It's oil resistant. So all we need to do is we need to literally go around the perimeter. We're going to go around the bolt holes, perimeter, around the bolt holes, until we make a complete connection here. So I'm just going to go ahead and just start randomly somewhere. Just I'm going to squeeze it until it comes out of the tube. These things kind of suck, but it is what it is. It's like decorating a cake. See if I can make it a little bit thicker by cutting it even more. Let's try this again. Whatever spots we don't get, we're going to go ahead and redo. I'm going to go ahead and fill in these little valleys. I've already started a little bit, but I just want to make sure that we have complete coverage of the gasket. I don't want to have to do this again, and neither do you. So we're just going to fill in these little indentations. It looks nasty, but it will work. It's ugly, but it's functional. Alright, just gonna go ahead and spread it in these things again by hand. Something here, these little crevices. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and install this on the car. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put the pan in place. You might have to maneuver it around the exhaust. Once you do, you're gonna have a stud, hopefully, around the area, and it should help you center the pan. And then we're just going to go ahead and start putting in the screws here, or the bolts. It is a pain for no reason at times. So we got that in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the stud for the pan in place, and I'm just going to put the nut there so we have something kind of holding this. Alright. We're just going to go ahead and lightly screw these in so that we have something to hold the pan down. Alright, now once we got all the bolts in place, slightly like, you know, not fully tightened, we're now going to go ahead and start torquing everything down. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and torque this to spec. It's 7.8 Newton meters, or in this case, about 5.7 foot-pounds. So we're going to go ahead and just use our torque wrench until we click it in place. Might not actually be good. We'll see if it tightens. If not, it might be stripped. Won't be the end of the world if it is. I think that it is stripped because it's not going in. It's fine. No biggie. We still got the rest. Alright, they're all torqued. So now what's going to happen is you're going to let this dry for at least a couple hours before you start pouring any oil in it. You just want to make sure that the seal is going to be good. Once it's good, you really are going to wait about 24 hours for it to fully cure. So, but 2 hours, at least if you need to get out of your driveway or whatever, that's fine. Just let the car sit and don't drive it until the next day. Alright, that's it. Alright, so this V6 here apparently takes 5 quarts of oil. So we're just going to go ahead and just empty this whole jug. If you have a funnel, great. If you don't, you'll be fine. Alright, let's go ahead and wipe around. Just make sure we don't have anything going on in there, and then just put the cap on. And that's it. We'll go ahead and let the car warm up. Check for any leaks. All's good. We're good. And we'll check the oil level as well. Right now we're on a hill, so we want to make sure we're on a flat surface when we're checking the oil level. Otherwise, it's going to throw off. It's going to make it look like it's more than it actually has inside of it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching Mobile Car Mechanic. Today we just completed the oil pan replacement on a 2003 Camry LE with a V6 in it. This is going to apply from 2002 to 2006. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.